Federal Working Group, past success, future opportunity. So Moira, when we kind of started down that path a little earlier, and I very politely asked, can we put a pin in this one? So we're all here. We've got 6, 7 different federal organizations, WCB. We've got ESDC as a regulator here. And this is great. We're all talking, we're all sharing. We've all got shared opportunity. But then we're going to leave. And then so what? Well, it might please some of you to know that we actually have something called the Federal Working Group. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that is. We're going to talk about where it came from. We're going to talk about why it matters. And we're going to talk about what does the future look like for it? How does the group evolve? Now, to start off, could I ask some of the people that have been participating in the group on a regular basis just to stand up or raise your hand just for a moment? So, at this group, we have the Department of National Defense. We have Correctional Services Canada. We have, obviously, the Workers' Compensation Board. We have Fisheries and Oceans Canada, and we have Canada Post. So we've held this event before. We held this event in 2013 and in 2015. And after the 2015 event, people asked the same question. This is great, but how do we work together on an ongoing basis? So, my colleague, Bob Westhaver, the man in the lovely purple shirt right over there, took it upon himself to hit the road and start talking to people about, okay, what is this going to look like? What do we need? Do we need to meet? Do we need to have teleconferences? Do we just need to have a place where we can share? What is this actually going to look like for us? Now, initially, we were all bonded by the fact that we're all national organizations. So, we go from Victoria to St. John's, and a lot of decisions for us are made out of Ottawa. That presents some challenges. However, we're all operating on a regional level. So what can we do within our regions, within our span of control, to make a difference, to make things better, to focus on the people that we have working for us? We obviously all have certain obligations under federal legislation. So there's obviously a countersignature for every federal claim that goes in. So you guys can't just send stuff directly to us. You have to send it up to Ottawa and then back to us. So that was a pain point for a lot of people. That creates some friction. I don't think I need to go into the details on that. A lot of people in this room are very familiar with that. And then also, a lot of our organizations were seeing high injury on-duty durations. People are staying away from work longer and longer as a result of injuries. Now that's due to a number of different things. A lot of people point to aging workforce. A lot of people point to the changing nature of our work. And with that, it's harder to find accommodations because if we're automating a lot of work or if a lot of work is being contracted out, we don't have as much work to bring people back to. So these were all the challenges that these organizations faced. And we decided, hey, let's get together at a table and let's sit down and let's talk about what we can do together. Now, of the 4 organizations, D&D, CPC, DFO, and CSC, that originally formed this group, you guys formed 89% of all the time loss claims in 2017. 4 federal organizations, not for Nova Scotia. So we're just talking about, if we're talking about who's who in the federal zoo when it comes to health and safety and return to work, we're it. We have the most experience, we have the most knowledge, we have the most ability. So what can we do with that? What can we do with that? So, in 2015, that was the takeaway for us. Then in 2016, we did a lot of planning, we did a lot of connecting, and then in 2017, we started bringing people together. We started talking about a lot of these things. So what are we going to do about our ESDC reporting situation and the countersignature? Is there anything that we can do as a collective? We started talking about other hot-button topics in both health and safety and return to work. So obviously, everybody's talking about the legalization of cannabis that just happened a couple days ago, really not that far in the past. What does that mean for us as federal organizations? What are our different approaches, and what can we learn from each other the way that we're dealing with this issue? And psychological health and safety, we've talked about that a number of times. What can we do to better support our people from a psychological health perspective? Now, every organization tackles it differently, but it's helpful when we're sharing our different approaches so we can figure out what's the best and what's going to work for me, so we can come up with better programs and better procedures and just a better way of interacting with our employees. We've also been sharing a number of important things. One is, what's the definite, 130 days. 130 days of injury on duty leave. After that, somebody goes on direct benefits. And we talked about that a little bit before, how that is unequal across Canada. But what is the definition of a day? That might seem like that's something pretty small. What do you mean, what's the definition of a day? But that can have a very significant impact on the benefits that somebody takes home. And Andre had the answer. A lot of us didn't know, and Andre had the answer. Any part of a day. So if somebody is taking an hour off to go to a physio appointment, that counts as a day. And that can shorten the amount of time that somebody is receiving their full pay. And that can have other impacts on the return to work process. So Andre knew that answer, and he was able to share that with our federal counterparts. So we learned from that. That is concrete results. Health Canada. Health Canada joined the group late last year. As a result of them joining our group and wanting to collaborate more with us, great success across the board, but one in particular. There was a man that worked for Queen's Harbour Master who was off work for 3 years and another 3 quarters, almost 4. And as a result of us working together, we managed to get him back to work successfully at full duties. The likelihood of anybody getting back to work after 6 months is 50-50. So because we partnered and we worked together, we thought of something a little bit different, and we got that person back when he was going on almost 4 years away from the workplace. And that stems from this, not to mention the diligent work of Health Canada and our case management team. I'm not going to sell them short on that, not even a little. And lastly, direct access to medical service providers, physiotherapy. Canada Post has one of the best programs around getting somebody early access to care in this province. And they were able to share the way that they approach it with other federal organizations to say, hey, here's what we do. If we get people back to, into physio quicker, we get them back to work quicker. We get them back to work quicker. We get them healthier quicker. Win, 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 right? So why else does it matter? I'm talking about it, but you saw a bunch of other people stand up. So I asked them, hey, do you guys want to present with me? And everyone said, no. It's because I'm excellent at this, obviously. But I wasn't going to let them off the hook that easily. So I asked them, what do you think of this group? What's the value? So someone shared the opportunity to communicate issues that share common threads amongst the various departments. Also, listening to other representatives discuss their issues and solutions so I can bring new ideas back to my own department to solve our own challenges. It's huge. We're all in this together. We're different departments, but we're all the government of Canada. So what can we do to share and to help each other to get better results across the board? Having a relationship with the other federal employers and the learnings as well. You're going to notice a little bit of a theme here. It's good to talk. It's good to collaborate. As well as the different perspectives, systems, and approaches to injury on duty and modified duties. We can learn, but we're also able to compare and benchmark. How are we doing? How are we doing based on our previous years? How are we doing based on our federal counterparts? Pretty important. Also, just had to throw this one in there, it's improved our relationship with the WCB. There weren't issues before, but this has led to increased collaboration outside of the forum as well. We are here to help. We're here to help with case management. We're here to help with return to work processes and systems. We're here to help with preventing injuries in the first place. We've got an entire team dedicated to that. And certain organizations have leveraged us. Fisheries and Oceans is using our ergonomics team. Canada Post is using one of our consultants in Mr. Westhaver to try to figure out ways to prevent more injuries. We're here to help. So, what's the greatest potential for this group going forward? I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let them say it. The ability to ask questions, problem solve, discuss topics, and discuss how things work differently within each branch of the federal government. You would think we're one big happy federal family and we're going to do everything the same across the board. Nay, nay. We do things a little bit differently everywhere, so everyone has a different approach, and we can kind of steal the best things from everybody and try to figure out the best way forward. This I found interesting. The greatest potential is to lobby ESCC and WCBs to find a better balance between employer and employee needs. We're stronger together. That might sound like that's a little bit of a cliche, but when you think about the organizations in this room, just the people that are in this room right now, but then also the people that we serve as our own public servants with all of these organizations, thousands. If we all have similar needs, if we're all asking for the same thing, our ask becomes a whole lot stronger. So why does it matter? We are national organizations, obviously. We're coast to coast, but we're dealing with people right here. People are injured right here. And to them, when they're injured, it doesn't matter if they're part of a national organization or if they're part of a small provincial organization of 5 people. What matters to them is, how are we going to get back to work? How am I going to get healthy again? And the thing that hurt me in the first place, is that going to be fixed so myself and anybody else isn't hurt from that again? So how can we work together to figure out the best way to do that? And that's what this group is all about. Questions? I promised I was going to be short and punchy.
How do you plan to lobby ESCC?
That is an excellent question.
You tell us how we should lobby you.
You call me, figure it out.
Maybe there's a seat for you at the table.
Maybe.
Maybe we talk.
Just saying to Sherry, I was like, I've never heard of this federal work.
There is a seat open for you at the table. Let's talk.
Yeah, let's do that.
I love it. Other questions?
How do we get in on it?
Give me a call. I've got a stack of them. I'll be over. Geez, I communicated that pretty well then. There's got to be more questions. All right. Thank you very much. We look forward to future iterations of this group and what the focus is going to be and how we can get better outcomes for all of our federal public service.